Welcome, Facebook family. Once again, we're here on Wednesday Wealth. We have a great show set up today. Once again, as we start off, the cavalry ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. The creek and rolls and the levee has given way. It's up to us to save us. So once again, would like to thank you guys for allowing us to come into your show, come into your homes for one more time on a Wednesday. Today, this is Black History Month, but we're going to talk about something that is creating opportunities in our community. We're talking about our economy. Everybody is talking about job creation. What do you do when you are at wit's end? You're trying to find out how we can give back to the community. Well, this today's show is with an individual who have completely turned her life around to create generational wealth, not just for her family, but also for her community. And guess what? You're going to learn today that she did it with being in the male industry. She did it on her own. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to get all those things out in the open. Today is going to be a great show. We're going to talk about the number one industry that's in our economy, that's growing our economy. And you might have had a friend or a family member that says, "Hey, I want to be in the trucking business or I want to be in the moving business." Well, we got an individual today, a young lady who I had the opportunity to meet, and she is phenomenal. She's got a great testimony. She's going to talk to us about and train us today on how you can bet on yourself, get involved in your community, and guess what? Change your environment around you. So without any further ado, Katina Ruffin, the owner and CEO, the manager, whatever you want to call it. She is the ringleader of Hot Shot Movies. If you've been on Facebook, you've been hearing about it. Hot Shot Movies. You've been on Black Dollar, Hot Shot Movies. You've been on the internet, anywhere on the internet when you're talking about moving, Google, all of that, you're going to see Hot Shot Movers at the very top. And remember that she was on my show first. Here first. That when you guys see her on a national scale, Hot Shot Movers, you remember that she was here on the Wealth Creation Show here on Wednesday night. Without any further ado, Katina Ruffin, the owner, CEO, the baddest, hardest working girl out there for Hot Shot Movies. Welcome, Katina. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Katina. From Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm born and raised here. I have two children. And yeah, like you said, I started my company about a year ago. I just decided to take a chance on myself and, take that leap of faith. And it's been amazing
Been
ever since.
amazing. So, Katina, you're being kind of modest here. Okay. So, we got to bring out what you did and how you did it. Tell us, Katina, when I first met you, you didn't have no idea of owning your own company or doing anything like that. When I first met you, Katina, tell me, because I asked you pre show,
Yes.
tell me what you were doing before you came in. And the reason why I'm bringing this out, because so many times in our community, Katina, is that we have people that just don't bet on themselves. And
Right.
this whole show is about overcoming the obstacle of you. A lot of times we blame other people for our mistakes, or we blame other people for not starting. Katina,
Right.
tell our audience what you was doing when I first met you, because we're going to talk about how you transitioned from what you were doing to the great company and the number one company here in the city dealing with moving today.
Okay. Well, I'll just go back a little bit further. Like I said, I'm from Indianapolis. I actually grew up in the projects in
Okay.
Amberwoods and on
You
42nd
didn't,
and
you didn't
Post.
grow up in Carmel? You didn't grow up in Carmel and the business was handed to you? All
No,
right. Okay. Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. I grew up on the East Side. I went to John Marshall and Arlington, and um, you know, got into a party life. And, you just don't think when you are, 17 and 18 and 19 years old, just, you know, having fun with your friends, that you would, 10 or 15 years from then be, addicted to drugs. And this is what he's referring to. So, yeah, about almost 5 years ago, um, I was in the midst of a severe drug addiction. I was homeless. I didn't really have any friends or anywhere to go, um, living on the streets, and found myself in jail. And from that point, I found recovery, and I've been sober ever since. And in these last couple of years, I've been working in treatment facilities, and I'm currently a student at Martin University. Actually,
Wow.
it's my last year for addiction counseling. And I don't know, over the few last years as I've been working, because I never really wanted to be a business owner. I never thought it was for me. And I just found myself constantly needing to be challenged and have my mind stimulated, because I am I'm just that, that kind of person. Like, I get bored easily, and I just see myself working all these different jobs. And every time I would work on these jobs, I would be placed in a position to um, pretty much like run their company, or change things for them or recreate things. And it just got to a point where I was like, you know what, it's time for me to do this for myself. I see myself being put into position for something.
Okay. So once again, so Katina, so audience, once again, y'all hear her said it, and we're gonna bring out how Hot Shot came about. But do you see what she said? She said one, she was a young kid, made some bad mistakes, went to jail, got out, was on drugs, got out, and guess what? She didn't quit betting on herself. And that's what we got to realize, is that God can take us right where we're at and make whatever we want out of it. And once again, Katina, when I first met Katina, she came into my office and she was all over the place. And she said, I'm going to start a company. And I said, really? Right. And so, once again, she said, you know what? I have a brilliant mind. And I was like, interesting. Some people say I'm very talented at speaking, and some people say I'm very gifted at finance or whatever. But Katina told me, she said, I have a brilliant mind and I have to be stimulated. And I said, okay, Katina. And she was talking about she was going to work with this trucking company and all that. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And she came back and I started to follow her. And guess what happened? She started this company called Hot Shot Movers. And I was like, very interesting. So I followed her from a distance. And, not only you Google it, Hot Shot Movers, she comes up at the very top. And not only did she get off of drugs, not only did she have the mother of two, she did it on her own. And then what she did is she decided to give back to her community. Talk about some of the people that you hired, Katina.
Yeah, so I do hire people that are in recovery. I hire second chance. Um, I myself am a felon. It's been about 6 years, about 6 years. However, I do give people a chance that are, coming out of jail. And I also, I don't not hire certain people. However, I do a lot of hiring of young Black men. I just find that especially with the way that I've had to transition and the changes that I've had. I just like to hire them so that they can see that, they don't have to be out in the streets. They don't have to, go do things that'll lead them down paths that we are capable of,
Okay.
working and owning
So,
companies.
so once again, I always say the cavalry is not coming. The creek has rose, the levee has given way. It's up to us to save us. So here we see a young lady who once again bet on herself. She hired young men, not young women. She hired young men to bet on themselves. So it takes a village to raise this whole community that we're trying to call our economy. So what we're trying to do here on our show is create and let people know that we're out here and we have value in our own community. She didn't go to Carmel and say, "Hey, I want to hire somebody in Carmel." Or she didn't go to the suburban area. She went right back to where she grew up at. She went right back to the people who she knew. She bet on herself and she bet on her community. So, talk a little bit about the trucking business, Katina. How did you set that up? how, because I know when I put it out there, I said this is a trucking company, and you, with your brilliant mind, you corrected me and said that's not a trucking company. I have they do the same thing, but I have a moving company. So kind of,
Mhm.
and ain't that a male dominated industry? Ain't that male
Yes.
dominated? So what made you think that you had the ability to go into this male dominated industry where you got to lift up uh, chairs and couches and beds and all that stuff? What made you think that you can do that?
So I was actually working for a different moving company. And when he started, he was brand new as well. And in my time working with them, I actually helped and also did a lot of um, the office work. As far I did a lot of the research for them, a lot of helping them build that company. And in that time, um, after a while, I just felt like it was time for me to, move on. But I had to go do a lot of research on my own. I found out how to get my authority. That's why I'm always correcting you on that because, yes, the authority, things that you need in order to get into the trucking business, it's the same process. So I had to, go find out all those things myself as far as how to get insurance and all these different papers and all this stuff online that you had to fill out for the federal motor carrier. And I just had to have a different authority, which would be we move household goods rather than freight. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
with that, what we actually do is we go into people's homes and we pad and wrap all their furniture and protect anything that's fragile and put it on the trucks and relocate them wherever it is that they're moving inside the United States.
Okay. So, Katina, let me ask you some of the personal questions. How did you deal with the rejection? Do you ever have that rejection from people because you're a female?
Yeah, it's I would say as far as like on that level, that had been one of the hardest things working with men, especially in this field because it's not like I'm just driving trucks, like I'm actually picking up furniture and there's times where I fill in and yeah, a lot of times it's been kind of hard to get them to listen or believe that I know what I'm talking about. And I like to tell them like we're not here to exhibit strength. We're here to exhibit skills. Like I'm going to teach you how to have a skill set rather than just be strong. Because I've always been a strong woman. I've learned that it's more about a skill set and a process of what we go in there and do rather than just going and picking up stuff. Otherwise, everyone can just hire their cousins, right? They
Okay.
wouldn't need us.
So, as you begin to grow this company, what were some of the things? I know you being a female in a male-dominated industry, right? You had to deal with us men. Hey, you can't tell me I'm a man. I know what I'm doing, and you had to correct that situation. From your background, from being in the streets and everything, did that kind of transition for you? Did that kind of help you in the position that you're in now?
It definitely did. Like I said, so the last company that I worked at, I had left for a while, and when I came back, like not only were they, wanting me to come back because I was so good at my job, but one of the things specifically she said, she's like, these guys respect you. I keep having, you know, women come in here trying to do what you are doing, and they don't respect them. So yeah, I found my place with them, and I am a bit rough around the edges, as people say. So maybe that's how I'm able to.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it's a little rough sometimes, but yeah.
So you said because you come from the street and you just took everything you learned in the street and you applied it to your business, right?
Yes.
What came up with? How did you come up with the name Hot Shot Movers? Hot Shot Movers. That's not a good truck. That to me, I don't know if I'm going to buy a Hot Shot truck. What made you come up with that name? That's a brilliant name, by the way.
Thank you. I came up with the name. So when I was starting the company, I was doing a lot of research on what things would make people want to buy more, what would do better for sales, which was red was the number one color, which was also my favorite color. And like I knew that from the men being in all these houses, a lot of women would just sit around and watch them. They would be very attracted to them. They would call their family members over just to watch the movers pick up furniture in their house. So I wanted the name to kind of have like a sexy kind of appeal to it. And I actually had put together a photo shoot before I started, and I like hired a bunch of good looking guys and just had them
Wow.
all like modeling. So I had like this whole idea of like just wanting to reel customers in because they're like, oh, he's good looking. I want him in my house. So the name and the image kind of all went together.
All went together. So, Katina, tell me this. Let me ask this question. How did you juggle your personal life from your professional life, dealing with your kids? Now you're creating generational wealth. You have two wonderful kids, a daughter and a son, and they're looking at their mom with the transition that you did, and they see that you're impacting not just yourself. They see that you created this company that is one of the top moving companies here in the city. How has that impacted your children? And then how did it impact your community? Because the same guys that you saw out there in the streets are the same people that you probably helping move today. So how did that transition?
So with my family, it's been really hard actually. I cannot say that I've actually found that balance
Okay.
because I haven't, especially with like I recently moved, school changes, all different things. It's been a lot. Sometimes I wonder if I'm putting them second, because I am so busy. A lot of the times it takes up a lot of my time, and I have to just sit down and give them some of my time because I have to remember that I'm not doing this for me. Like I'm doing this,
Once
for them,
again,
for
once
others.
again, that's good information. So, ladies and gentlemen, so once again, we're talking about a young lady who has one of the top moving companies, and she's being transparent and she's laying her soul out there on the line. She said, "Hey, you don't have all the answers. Sometimes you're going to learn as you go. When you're creating a business and you're creating generational wealth, a lot of times we get on these YouTubes, Katina, and we get a trucking company, and we be like, well, I can do this, and we always talk about the good stuff, right?
Mhm.
But we don't never talk about the nuts and bolts of how you run a company, right? And this is really, you said it. I don't have it figured out. I'm still figuring it out. A lot of times I just got to take out time and just grab my son and daughter and put them in a headlock and make them play Monopoly with me or whatever. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times even when I was running my company, a lot of people were like, Cepeda, you got it going. But realistically, when you at your company, it's like a child within itself. You know, the
Mhm.
county ain't coming, the bills don't get paid or
Yeah.
whatever. You got to make sure it happens for you. And
Yes.
so once again, um, that's good information. If you were trying to start a business, she just gave you a classic example of what you can do. Hey, the cavalry's not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. Hey, Katina, you're investing back into our community, right? So as you begin to invest back into our community, we're going to get to some of the questions. I got some questions of
You was
some of the
reading.
people. Hey, you guys, if you guys are listening to the show, let's share it with somebody. Some of your sons need jobs. So you can go and call Katina. Her name is down there on the bottom. You can call her, Hot Shot Movies, or go to the website. If your son or daughter needs a job, if your daughter needs to see inspiration from a female in a male dominated industry, hey, Katina is a good example. If you've been on drugs yourself and you want to know how you can start your own company, this is a good example on how she can do it, help you. Katina, uh, when you were starting your company, right? And you was going through the process of getting everything started. When did you realize this is something that you could do?
So I actually, and I was just reading that question, somewhat near that. I actually was still working, right, and so my company actually opened March of last year, and I actually decided on August the 6th of 2020, yes, that I would start my company. And from that point, I just started writing down everything that was in my head and putting out all my ideas and getting them out of my brain. And I would write myself notes, and I even wrote myself like a letter for my kids to read when we get rich and we're able to give back. and, and
So you
it's
wrote
all
it
in there.
down.
And I
Okay.
wrote all this stuff down, and I told myself the operations would start in March, and they began in April. I quit my job in March, and I did my very first move. I took March to put all those things together that I had wrote down, all the goals that I wanted to meet. I did all that in March, as far as legal paperwork, all the stuff to be ready to set out. And in April, I did my very first move. And so I started writing everything down because my brain was just so crowded with information. And it helped me a lot.
Wow. So you wrote it down. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's once again, I always stop our guests. She's giving you a nugget. She's telling you, hey, listen, when you get that idea, write it down. Write it down. It might not be important to somebody else, but it's important to you. But
Hmm.
when you write it down, you get that opportunity to put it into existence. And so when Katina, a lot of times with my company, I'll get something in the middle of the night, right?
Hmm.
And then I'll journal it. You know, a lot of people do journaling. And I
Yeah.
was at a conference a couple years ago, and they said successful CEOs, successful businesses, they write stuff down. And when you write stuff down, you might write it down, but you might get it later. So once again, I have a question for you, Katina. Hey, listeners, if you guys, we're going to take some questions. We can ask Katina. We're starting to get them filled up. We have one question from Mariah, and she says, "How did you set your platform within your company for young women to follow for guidance? Do you do a lot of consulting with young women?"
I do. Yeah, I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, I do. So I also not only do I do consulting, just helping in that way. Like I still go help other people that are recovering from drugs. Also, like there's been times where I've posted on Facebook and like I'll meet women. Like there's actually a woman in California. She owns a moving company, and she calls me for advice. And I know that people are charging for these things and stuff, but I just want to see people
Katina,
grow.
you're giving back once again. Once again, because Katina knows that I charge. So,
Yeah, like I just try and be helpful right now, because I want to see people, grow. I want to see us women grow, and especially the Black community. I think we are doing things today that remarkable things, things I never thought that I would see, and I just love being able to help and see other women, especially. Be able to, get on a path. So I'll give them like marketing tips or just advice, things that they can use to just kind of up their sales.
okay. So, Katina, I gotta ask the question now because you put me on Front Street. You said you do a lot of marketing, right? What
Yes.
is one thing? Just give us two of the tricks of the trade. Two things that you did that created business for you.
Uh, so one of them, and I always use this tip. It's old school, but it still works. I use postcards. Um,
Postcards.
yes, I make postcards online. I get them cheap, $100 for 500, and I get on the internet like Realtor, Zillow, and I find people that are selling their house, and I send it to them. Um,
What? So hold on. So you said that you get on Zillow. Now you do this yourself, right?
I do it myself at home, and I stamp them, or I have my kids help me stamp them.
So once again, we're talking about generational wealth, right? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, she's giving you practical examples on how you can grow your company. She told you one, she quit making excuses for herself. She said, "Hey, I got to change. I have two kids." She's not excluding her kids. She's saying, "Hey, not only am I going to start this trucking company, I'm going into an all male dominated industry. I'm going back to my community to help out my community. And guess what we're going to do? I'm going to have my kids help me pass out my postcards. You probably have them working for free. So you better check your labor laws, Katina, because, you know,
Another thing I do is I do focus a lot on reviews and sometimes I run ads and I just stay real specific with the keywords that I use. I know that there's a lot of words that will help you bring that rating up. So I try and focus a lot on making sure we do quality work so that when I do ask the customer for a review, sometimes I'll send them out like a digital gift card because everybody loves Starbucks. I'm like, hey, leave us a review. Here's a $5 or $10 gift card. Get you some coffee. I do a lot of things to you
pay
know
it forward.
entice people, get people to want to do things, and sometimes they go do them on their own. But the SEO, the search engine optimization, has been really, really big for me, and as well as running ads, just making sure I'm getting those target words.
Well, so once again, now Once again, she didn't have no platform. She didn't have nobody saying, "Hey, Katina, this is how you do it." She didn't have somebody that gave her $1 million. She is doing it based on trial and error. We even hear her kids in the background. They're helping her. They're working. So once again, we want to be a platform. This is what it's about. When we grow our companies, when Katina has over $1 million, and I want her to give that credit back to when she first got started. So if you're looking to move, or if you just getting married, or just having a baby and y'all get ready to buy a home, call me to get the mortgage, but call Katina to move your furniture. You shouldn't have to do it. What is some of the benefits, Katina, of being an owner compared to working for somebody else?
Some of the benefits, one of the best benefits is like today I was laying in the bed, resting, focusing on this, doing some meditation while the guys worked. That's a big benefit for me because sometimes I just need to rest.
Okay.
But also having, my own schedule. Like I said, I've not really gotten it all figured out with the home and, trying to balance all those things, but being able to have my own schedule. And I find that the pressure that I'm under is only the amount of pressure I'm allowing myself to be under because I have no one in a sense of overhead just constantly, that anxiety that comes with I've got to meet this person's expectation. I'm only having to meet the expectations that I create for myself and for my company, and for the people, around me. We want to do good work, but I felt less stressed working for myself than not, even with, money up and down, all the different things that come with it. I've been less stressed working for myself than someone else.
Wow. So once again, the cavalry ain't coming. The creek is rose and the levee is giving way. Katrina is betting on herself. So we ain't looking for no handouts. So many times we get on YouTube and all that stuff. Katina's saying, "Hey, listen, all those things were great, but guess what? This is literally how you grow your company." We're taking the gloves off, Katina, here. I want people, when they look at here, I don't want to give people, I call it a Michael Jordan experience. The Michael Jordan, we all want to be like Mike, right? But we don't want to do what Mike did to get to where he's at, right?
I'm trying to be like Master P.
Master P, but we got to do what Master P does. So once again, the cavalry ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you create generational wealth for your kids, right? How have your kids been impacted by you being this power mom? How has your kids been impacted?
They a lot, and then I take them sometimes with me when I go out,
Hold
out of
on, slow down.
town.
So you have your son lifting up those chairs. I'm thinking I'm gonna call the
No, he's not. No, he's not lifting. He's just
okay.
there. But yeah, but they do. They might come pick up a box or something if it's like if it was a family member move or something like that. But I take them just so we can get out on the road, and it's been helpful with having like e-learning and things like that because it is hard being a single mom and not really having anyone to keep them. Like they're old enough to be home alone, but not for days at a time, and you know things like that. So it's definitely
Had it inspired your daughter? Because I know you have a daughter also. Was it important for you to create this opportunity for generational wealth so your daughter can see, hey, my mom can do it, I can do it?
yes, it definitely is. It's very important for me because my daughter, she's very quiet, very reserved, but I know that she is observing. So it is important for me to show them that it's possible. And I talk to them. I ask them like, what could I do better? What what am I not doing, or what am I lacking here? I do ask them those questions because I know that I can get pretty far off when I'm, in one of my mad scientist modes or just working all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about the community. So when you transition, do you hire people that's in your, where do you go to get your people? Are you hiring now? That was one of
Yes,
the questions. So
I am hiring right now. Yes.
so you hiring, I saw one of your ads talking about if you really want to. Now, are you thinking about branching off into the franchise business to where I can come in and buy into your company and everything is set up for me?
Yeah, so we are hiring, and I use Facebook, Instagram, Indeed, different places like that. I also go to job fairs or, special events that are in the community. But I'm not going to say like franchising, but I am in the process of like creating new packages because our customers, they just love us. Like they want us to do everything in their home. Like they don't just want us to do their furniture. They want us to come hang up TVs, or they want us to come scoot the couch over, anything. So I'm going to build these packages, and I'm actually in the process, me and my cousin, of starting up a pet transportation business.
Wow.
So that'll be one of the packages that'll be offered so that we can transport your pet, during the move. Because a lot of times people don't know what to do. It's such an overwhelming experience that, the dogs are barking and running, and it's a whole lot going on. So my job is just trying to make that process as simple for the customer, and is, you know, how I know that I'm doing a good job is when you get there, if they don't know your work, they're going to be paying attention to you and looking. Once I see the customers looking at their phone or cooking dinner, because we've got them to their new house, I know that we're doing our job because they're no longer watching us.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, she just gave y'all a nugget. She just gave y'all another nugget. How can tell if you're providing good service? She said, "Hey, listen, when my customers, she took the emphasis off of them, and they can leave her and start looking at their phone, and they feel like she's a part of their home, she's a part of their family. Guess what? That lets her know that she's done a good job. It's not about how many reviews she got. It's about the customer having that experience, and it's because where she come from. She knows what to pay for what you get. She's been home. She knows how to decorate a house, and so she still haven't told me that I can come in and get a part of Hot Shot Movers. But we can work on that. We gonna put that. We gonna work on that so we can franchise it. Tell us, Katina, how far do you go? So if I want to move from here to California, can y'all make that happen for me?
We can. I'm actually going to Florida tomorrow. We've been to Florida, we've been to Arizona, Texas. We go all over the United States. So wherever someone's wanting to move, we will take them.
Wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Katina is telling us she started from zero. She didn't have all the bells and whistles. She said, listen, I want to change my life and I want to impact my community. And I think, Katina, and correct me if I'm wrong, what do you think about this philosophy? I think that sometimes when we start a business, we think about how much money we can make, but we don't think about how better we can serve our community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you was more involved in, I'm hearing you talk, you was more involved in the serving industry because you saw a need. You said, hey, I can fulfill that need, even though I'm not a male, I can make it happen. And you just didn't make any excuses, right? Do you
Right.
ever doubt yourself sometimes? Do you ever be like, is this worth it?
Yeah. Just recently, I, was kind of going through a bit of a funk because, for so many months straight, nothing had happened. It just seemed to be like a pink cloud, like just perfect all the time. And then I had a few minor bumps, and I guess I'm just such a control freak that I was like, oh no, I'm like, this is not gonna work. I'm not gonna last. But I came out of it, and I found me couple new guys that they're really good and they like what they do. I love working with people that like what they do, and moving furniture all day long is not something that a lot of people enjoy to do. So
Uh,
when you find guys that really like the work, it's good to have them because they do a really good job. And it's been yeah, it's been really good with the serving. I That's part of the reason that I think that we have done so well is because I put such an emphasis. I've seen a lot of other moving companies not really putting that emphasis in customer service, which I found very odd considering we're inside of someone's home, having direct contact with them, handling some of their most prized possessions. So I put a lot of emphasis on making sure the guys are courteous and polite. We're handling their things with care, and it's worked out really, really well because they, like I said, they love us. They will. I've never known a moving company to get booked 4 or 5 times in 1 month. Like, and people book us that many times, they will find anything that they need done, and they will ask us to come do it.
wow, wow. So once again, we seeing, ladies and gentlemen, give the stars, give the thumbs up. We're gonna get to Katina.
Mhm.
How we gonna contact her? I keep getting, how we gonna contact you? How can you get in contact? Well, her telephone number is right there, rolling through our screen. We're going to run it the whole time. www.hotshotmoversindy, correct?
Yeah.
.com. That's where you can find the website. Once again, the Calvary ain't coming. This is a young lady who decided to invest into her community. She didn't go outside of her community. She stayed within her community. Hot Shot Movers. She got the shirts and all the memorabilia. I don't have one. I have to wear it. She got me wearing this suit right here. But I got to get a Hot Shot Movers. But Katina, let me ask you a couple of questions about the industry. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it difficult to get set up? Was it difficult to get set up the company?
Yeah, it was a bit difficult, especially with, like I said I would start in April.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that had to do with like just making sure that I brought up enough, um, had enough working capital because I knew that the expenses on a company like this were, very high. You have trucks, you have payroll, you have insurance, you have all these different bills. So at first I was a bit overwhelmed, but because I didn't know if I would be able to afford it. So, and literally, I was watching that guy last week, and I felt like he did because I stimulus checks came in, I put some of that up. Taxes came in, I put some of that up. School checks came in, I put up some of all that money. And when everything started coming in, I had my plan and I set out. But at that time,
So
I didn't know about business credit, so I bought
so she calls me
everything.
up and asks me about that. So once again, Katina, and this is what the show is really all about. Katina gave the shout out to the guy last week. That means that she watched my show last week. So once again, we celebrate over here. We don't have any issues with promoting the companies that are doing well. Hopefully, Katina, you're gonna get some business from this. If you got some moving needs, Katina is the company to call. We even got your some of your customers, Katina. They're calling me in, blasting up my site, talking about how good you are. I'm just gonna put one of them up. Brent Caskey says, I highly recommend Katina. She is very professional and went above and beyond with her service. So I ain't
Thank
got
you.
about 3 or 4 of those. This is about Katina growing her company, but that's good that you have a loyal following. I have that sometime with me. People, I didn't do the show about 2 or 3 weeks, right? And people start calling me and getting in my inbox and saying, I was waiting, took out time for you to be here. But, sometimes, Katina, when we're providing a service to the community, how do you find yourself to take that break for yourself? How do you do that? When do you know to do that? How do you know when to do that? I know we on go mode all the time. When do you say, hey, okay, let me take some time for Katina?
Um, for maybe 6 or 7 months straight, I just didn't know how to do that. I
Wow.
think that
Hold up now. Hold up now. So she's one good nugget. She said for 6 or 7 months straight, she didn't know how to do that. She kept going and she kept going and she kept going. So once again, you got to put in the work. If you want to get to the top, you got to put in the work. Keep going,
yeah,
Katina.
and I think I have. That's what I said. I think I have burnt myself out a bit because I was just reaching like a point where like it was becoming like I didn't have anything new going on. So that's why like now I'm trying to get new packages and things and like it's been an awesome year. Like I've surpassed so many goals that I had set for, myself and for the company. So I think the little bit of funk that I was just referring to that I was going through, I really think that was kind of God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself because I didn't know how to sit down.
Yeah, you didn't know how
And
to
I
sit.
needed that. I needed that rest. I needed that
How
time
long
to
did you take
read.
off? How long did? Well,
Uh,
before we go there, hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's share this with as many people as you can. I don't want to hear about y'all saying, "Well, I don't know how to motivate my daughter or my son, or my son need a job for the summer." Share this with somebody else. Don't be selfish with it. Share it with somebody else. Let's start answering. Let's start asking some questions, and let's leave some comments, ladies and gentlemen. We got a young lady who came from a minister society. Now she's blessing her whole community. So we starting to get a lot of people coming in. We keep it real here on our line. You were saying that you just took some time off. How long did you take off?
I mean, I didn't really take like a real amount of time off. Like I just wasn't working as much as I usually do. Like I was just kind of taking a few jobs rather than every single day or consistent, just enough to keep my family um, and my bills and things like that and my guys paid. But because I'm gonna say my 1 year goal, which I haven't even been open a whole year. My 1 year goal for sales was 100,000, and I reached 150,000 in sales in 9 months.
Okay, slow down. So I want y'all to catch this. The cavalry ain't coming. The creek is roll. So you got to remember, she's doing sales in the African American community, right? You. Was one time you was addicted to drugs, right? You say you went to jail, and now she's
A lot.
generating $150,000 in less than 9 months, legitimately. The cavalry ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. That means that she had to employ some people, right? Some people had to help her. I'm sure you didn't lift up all of those beds by
No,
yourself.
and they've been great
They've
guys.
been great.
Great, awesome
Great.
guys, hard
So once
workers.
again, when people say that there's no money in our community, here we see a young lady that came out of our community. She went to the Arlington, she went to the tech high schools, she went to the public schools. She didn't go to the private schools, she went to the public schools, and she told me she had a brilliant mind. So once again, we have brilliance and we have excellence in our own community. We don't have to go outside. We got the number one moving company in our community, Hot Shot Movers. That's saying it within itself. And she's putting her money out there where her mouth is. She made $150,000 less than 9 months. Once again, ladies, the cavalry ain't coming. The creek, the rose, and the levee is giving way. It's up to you to save you. You got to network with your community. How did you get that business? Did you get it all from Google, or how did you do it?
I got some of it from Google. Black. I got a lot of business from Black Dollar.
Stop right there. Black dollar, black dollar, black dollar. So
Yes,
once again,
I love Black Dollar, and they love us.
she went into our community and got some business. So once again, when people say, "Hey, we don't network with one another," once again, I look at them, Katina. I look at them like they're crazy because
Yes.
once you break down that myth that we don't support one another, I look at companies like you and I'm like, it don't matter. It really don't jive. It don't make
Hmm.
sense. You saying that you want an elephant. When you got an elephant on your back, that means it's gonna crush you. It's a big animal. You
Hmm.
you saying that you got an elephant, but you really looking at a poodle. Two different things. We're saying that there's no money in our community can continue. You didn't pull out $150,000, and you just told us that you spent some money with Black Dollar. So once again, it just don't make sense on why we can't get that encouragement in our own community. We don't have to go out. So what else did you do, Katina, to generate that $150,000 that you didn't want to give me none?
um, just for the most part, like always running ads and things like that, and but overall, word of mouth and referrals and good ratings has really kept me up. And like I always make sure that I support other people, especially women, especially Black business. I shop. Um, I shop in Black Dollar. I shop with other companies, and I try and take the things that I've learned from the people that have helped me because I needed some help to get to where I'm at. Just a support system, period. So I try and support in any way I can, even if it's just hitting the share button.
Wow. So Katina, tell us about some of the things that you do to help support or give back to your community.
So like I said, we right now. Um, I've been mostly doing a lot of, working with people with recovery, or we go to, um, like, what was that? Not too long ago, we had the Circle City event. Um, it was at Douglas Park. So we go and we set up shop at places like that. And I do offer special discounts and services and things. And ultimately, one of my goals is to get to a point where I've never wanted to own any facilities because, it's a lot of work. I've wanted to get to a place where I can be able to donate. and give back and get involved. And like right now, I've got my kids involved in programs in the community, big brothers and sisters and things like that, so that we are engaging with each other and learning how to be better role model. I don't want to be their only role model. So
Wow. So once again, we're talking about the number one moving company here in the city of Indianapolis. She's giving it to you raw and uncut. She's saying, "Hey, listen, I struggle with making time for my kids because I'm running a business." And you know what? It kind of brings me back to remembers. It was a young lady on our show, and she started. I think it was the Indianapolis Journal, or it was the number one magazine, the newspaper here in the city, and she was talking about how she struggled with balancing her marriage and her business. And ultimately, she chose her marriage over the business, and she sold the business. And so, you're giving a classic example of being a female in a male-dominated industry. Not just a male-dominated industry. You going into business, and business require that you put in the time, and
hmm
you're bringing it out. You was like, "Hey, I don't have time to mess around. My time is very important." Now, have you had any negative feedback? Any negative things that people have said once you started to move up the ladder? You were like, "Well, Katina, I don't want to use you because you Katina. You're supposed to do it for me for free because I know you."
I really haven't. I haven't had any of those issues. And then when I did create my pricing, I created it obviously within the market. However, I did give myself some wiggle room because I know we see a lot of people say don't give out discounts and things like that, but I don't mind giving out a discount. I love going into the store and running into a discount. I don't mind, helping the people that, have been there, have supported me. So I don't feel like a couple of dollars, $50, $100 off or something is going to break my company. And if it
Mhm.
is, then I've probably got some more work to do.
Okay.
Ultimately, it's been good. Like it hasn't
So,
hurt me.
so once again, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard both sides. Y'all heard a lot of people say, "Well, when you're dealing with our people, they don't want to pay for it." Well, you're saying totally different.
They
You're
do. If
doing,
I'm the one offering the discount, they don't even ask. They'll tell me you don't have to do that, and I'm like, no, it's fine. I
well,
love you.
you mean to tell me they're willing to pay full price? That's
Yes,
just not in other people's community. That's in our own community, Katina.
they are willing
They
to
ain't
pay.
trying to hustle you or anything like that. Wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the cavalry ain't coming. You hearing it straight from a business owner's mouth. There are people in our community that will pay top dollar for quality service.
Yes.
Once again, she is providing a quality service. Our businesses in our community, our people, our consumers in our community will pay top dollar for the services if we provide in our community. I have a young lady who I talk to all the time, and she always tell me. She said, "You know what? We always try to undercut people in our own community, but here we
hmm
see once again, you're saying, hey, that might have been in the past, but we living in a new day now. People are looking, black dollar. People are
Yeah.
looking for ways to spend money in our community, right?
I,
So what would you going to say, Katina?
okay, and I've always noticed, like as I've been just over the years, and as I've been working, there's always been that stigma that black companies, they don't offer good customer service and things like that. So I wanted to make sure that we really did, and not because I was trying to be better. It was because if I'm just one person with just one company, but even if we can help change that idea that no, not all companies that are owned by black people are rude or don't offer customer service or give quality work. I just feel that even just with just me and this one company, we might can help change that idea a bit, and people will start looking more into shopping black and getting more into the community rather than outside because they don't have to fear maybe that they're going to get a bad experience because maybe they shopped with us and they had a great experience.
Wow. So we're breaking that stigma here. We're breaking that stigma here. The cavalry is not coming. We can spend money with businesses that have came onto my show. Every business that have came on my show, Katina, I've heard great reviews. One, I've heard the businesses that have came on my show, they've got more clients that come to their business because they was on my show. And then two, my show has been a platform where they can, use. And once again, you talking about the young man yesterday, I mean last week, who did the mentoring and all of that, and that motivated you to get on the show today. So
Mhm.
I that just encourages me, Katina, that we're doing the right thing. We're investing in our own community. You came out of our community, right? You
Mhm.
went through the whole process of being out there in the streets, got it together, and now that $150,000, that it was black owned businesses that supported you, black
Yeah.
customers that supported you. What's the ratio of your clientele? Do you have a lot of Hispanics, whites, blacks, green, orange, purple, overseas? What
I would say the ratio is probably 50% black, and even if maybe 45-45, but mostly black and white customers, and then an odd 10% just here and there that's like maybe Asians
so
or
our
Asians
community,
or Hispanics, and
okay, so our community is supporting you, right?
yes.
So
Hmm.
our community is your bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
And so you can hang on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary has came now. The Calvary has came because guess what? When she opened up her doors, we're supporting it. All right. So the Calvary is starting to come. The creek is starting to go down a little bit because we're providing the services to to facilitate opportunities in our community. Not only does it impact her, it impacts her kids, it impacts the people that she hired, the guys who said they just got out of jail, just got out of prison. What did we do with them? Send them to Katina so Katina can hire them, but give her the opportunity to help you help yourself by supporting her and keep using her. Keep using her. Use her till her wheels fall off. So use her till her wheels fall off so that she be like, hey, until she have to sell me a piece, so she have to let me buy one of those hot shot movie companies because it's a great company. I looked at her business structure. She came to my office, like I said, and she said, Cepeda, I need you to help me with some business credit. I was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen, Captain.
It
She said,
never happened.
she said, but that didn't stop her. That did not stop her. So what happened? She went out and she said, Cepeda, guess what I got now? She kept telling me what she got, throwing it in my face that I should have invested then. I should have gave her the lines of credit then. But I'm so proud of her that she chose to do something positive. And that's what this is all about. She created generational wealth for her kids. You hear them in the background. Those kids are very well. They see her on the show. And I often say that, Katina, we living in a day and time to where this stuff is going to last forever, right?
Hmm.
15 to 20 years, you can go back and look at this on the show and be like, I remember when Hot Shot Movers was just starting off and I was only making
Yeah.
$150,000 in 9 months. Now I'm making $15 million in 2 months, and I didn't give Cepeda not a piece
Yeah.
of it.
That's
Man,
where I'm trying to get. I'm being patient, but
okay, what is the vision for Hot Shot Movers going forward? What's the vision for it?
So the vision for Hot Shot Movers going forward is to get some lines of credit.
Lines of credit.
So
Okay,
we,
Katina. Okay, Katina. Okay, Katina. Call me up. We can
so
do
we
that.
can
We
get
can make
some
that
trucks
happen.
of
We can
our
make it happen.
own. However, yes, so going into this second year, I plan on just doing some revamping, some new stuff to the website. Like I said, offering some new packages. I've just been kind of browsing on like how do celebrities move. So I want to start offering like kind of like specialty services. Just to enhance the experience, and then also, like I said, adding in that pet transportation as well. So yeah, that's the vision. I'm hoping to be able to hire more of a sales and clerical team this year because last year I did all sales and clerical work myself.
Well,
And
hold on, Katina. You said so. You did all of that yourself. So,
yeah,
so when you create that company, Katina, I want our business owners to know if you're thinking about creating a company, don't think it's strange that you got to go out and do it all. You got to get out and sweep the. You got to get out and sweep the sidewalks. I remember myself, Katina, as you know, a lot of times I would get out there and go to places that I really don't hang out and pass out my business card to try to get
Hmm.
homeowners. So you got to get out there and do it yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You got to get out here and do it yourself. And once people see you're doing it and they see that you're passionate about it, most of the time they'll come in and they'll give you a shot. And
Right.
they give you that shot, you got to be willing to, you got to hit the ground running. And so once again, Katina is doing it. You know, you're doing it, Katina, and you
Thank
giving
you.
you throwing the jabs at me, saying the lines of credit. So you know, I gotta come out here and help you now.
Yeah, I
So
need some. It's expensive running this business.
it's really, how expensive is it? That brings me to the next question. How expensive is it to run that type of business? You mind sharing with us?
Yeah, sure. So without, like I said, without actually owning trucks, which I didn't plan on doing in my first year anyway, because a truck breakdown can shut the whole operation down. But for me, it's a little different. Like I was explaining to you, I don't have any factoring or anything. So like as soon as my jobs are done, I get paid. However, having the rental I had for every month, it was 25 to 3,000 a month. That is it's about 24 plus the mileage. Plus sometimes I have more than one truck going out a day. So I'm paying for trucks daily. Payroll could be anywhere from 2 to 5,000 a week, depending on how much work we've done. Um, Gas every single day, supplies, even if I order them in bulk, just thousands of dollars on stretch wrap and tape and moving pads and dollies. And, if someone loses something, then it gets replaced. So it's very expensive. I was bringing in the summer about 30,000 a month, and I was still sending out maybe 15,
Wow.
almost 20.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, and remember, and this is what I want to emphasize. She's talking these numbers, and guess what? Over 50% was from us. 50% from us. So we can pat ourselves on the back and say, hey, we got behind this company. And you know what? Little did she know, I'm a part of Hot Shot Movers, because you know what? Her money is coming out of our community. We can take ownership of that. We celebrate her because she could have been doing so many other things, but she chose to hire us brothers that was getting out of jail. And look how much money she's making in our community. These are dollars that was not there. It would not be used in our community if it wasn't for her. So once again,
And I
um,
put them back by shopping the same way that people support me.
yeah. So she's supporting us black business. So how does it look? I'm gonna tell you how it looks. Go to Hot Shot Movers. See that website? Stick your chest out and say, I help support that. Let me show you what a black business look like. You see Katina out there on the street. Guess what? Tell some of your girlfriends that's moving every 6 months or every year to call Katina. Y'all gonna get some furniture made. Call Katina. You wanna know why? Because this is your company. This is our company that's created in our community for us. You know, a lot of times we use the slogan "for us, by us." You know,
Hmm.
we use that FUBU, for us, by us. You're literally doing it.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
there's other black moving companies, but none that are owned by women that I know of.
wow. So now she's shooting out the women. She giving a shout out to y'all women now. She giving a shout out to y'all women. So once again, if you got a daughter, you know, I have a granddaughter, I have two daughters. And I said, you know, she's the CEO and the president. She's the bomb.com. She gets on here and she gets with me. But once again, we're celebrating our own businesses in our own community, and she's making money, and 50% of her business is in our own community. It's not a Hispanic company, it's not a white company, it's not a Jewish company, it's a black company. And we can be proud because she didn't go to Carmel, she didn't go to Zionsville, she went to the hood, she went to the inner city. She had some of those teachers that imparted something in her. And guess what? She went away. And then she came back, and look at what we have today. We celebrating Hot Shot Movers. She came up with a good name, quality reviews on Google. We want to support her. If you are looking to move and you're not using Hot Shot Movers, I'm not talking to you. Okay, I'm not talking to you. If you're saying that you got a daughter or a son that's just getting back out of jail, or a daughter that's just getting back out of jail and you don't have Katina call and mentor her, I tell you this. If you call Katina and you moving and she don't pick up your call me up and I'll call her and she'll pick up my call because she wants some lines of credit. But what once again, we celebrate her. She's done a great job. She didn't beg. She didn't ask no. Did you get any grants, Katina?
No.
You didn't get no grants.
No, I just looked for, in the beginning, I looked for a lot of, mentorship because I just wanted to, meet with people, talk with people that
Who's
were
your mentor, Katina? Who
were for a while. I just wanted to, talk with people that were, in business that had these experiences because I was, stepping into something completely unknown. And yeah, I'm grateful that you were willing to help me and the people that have helped me. It helped boost my confidence. And I had one guy, he told me, he said, "You're young. Even if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, you're young enough to recover and do something else. So just go for it."
I remember talking to Katina, and she came to my office one day, and I said, "I'm gonna give you 2 counseling sessions." Remember that, Katina?
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm gonna give you 2 counseling sessions." And she said somehow she was able to get like 4 or 5 out of me. But you know what? I'm gonna send her the invoice now because now I know how much she makes. So it was paying it forward. But one of the things that stuck out to me is I told Katina, and she was set on Cepeda. This is the way I wanted to go. Now you might not think it's going to be good, but I'm standing on this. And one of the things that you got to do is you got to bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself. And if you don't bet on yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, ladies and gentlemen, that's 90% of the fight right there. Is when you look in the mirror, what do you see? What do you see? Do you see a company? Do you see yourself thriving? Do you see yourself doing it? And the second thing that I learned that was very clear is that Katina was very, very pesky. She was very she knew what she wanted. She didn't know how she was going to get there, but she knew what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let other people destroy your dream. You got to remember this is your dream. And after she kept pestering me, I was like, you know what? It would be better if I go ahead and help her and get her away than for me to keep, because she ain't going nowhere. And so she stuck on to me like a plague. So once again, even today, when I called her, she was like, a couple of days ago, I said, "Katina, you gonna come on the show?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready." And then she sent me a whole list of things on how I can make the show even better. So, so once again, you give, but you get back when you give. Okay. So once again, the cavalry ain't coming for those who don't bet on themselves. Katina could have gave up a long time ago, right? She could have gave up a long time ago. She could be a statistic, right? But now she's a statistic, but she's creating a dollar sign behind it. So once again, Katina, do you have anything else that you want to share? If a young lady wants to start a business, is there anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, so I would say if there's any women out there that are wanting to start businesses, especially in fields that can be intimidating because they are, dominated with men. I know when I started my company, I didn't even know how to drive those big trucks. I was scared to drive them. I just knew how to pick up furniture and do the other stuff. But now I'm driving, 26-foot trucks with vehicles attached to the back across the United States, you know. So we can overcome so many different things. I would just say that if you are wanting to start a business, I'm always open to help or mentorship. My information, like I said, it's going across the screen. And also, I know many other women, that I've been able to look up to that are doing amazing things, that are, opening businesses or have long-standing businesses. Yeah, if anybody's looking to start and just want some advice or some help, I know that I'm willing. So
Okay. So once again, see, that's what winning is all about. So now I got to go in and change my slogan, Katina, because I said the cavalry ain't coming. Well, the cavalry is here now. The cavalry is here. Katina's here. She's saying, "Hey, Cepeda, you got to start doing mentorship." I got to do it myself. I'm doing it. I'm making it available. The cavalry is here. Hey, the creek ain't rising no more, ladies and gentlemen. The creek is not rising no more because we got two people that's willing to give back to the community, that's not asking for no, we're not asking for you to do nothing. Only thing we ask is that you come willing to learn and bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself. Katina, do you see yourself betting on yourself?
Yes,
You see yourself betting on yourself, right?
I do, for sure.
Okay, so what do you see when you see that person in the mirror? What do you see?
What do I see?
Hmm.
When I look in the mirror, I see a mother. I see a strong mother, a strong woman that is still learning, still changing, but just willing to take whatever comes along the path. I've been teaching my kids that, there's a lot of things they don't like to do. Same for me. And I can see that they have a somewhere they're trying to get. And, same as I tell them, I tell myself, some of these things are just a part of the process. They're not really that big a deal. Like sometimes we just kind of have to deal with some stuff to get to the destination. You don't like math? Okay, get a C. I doubt we're on this path to become an architect, So let's just get through it and get to the destination, reach the goal.
Okay, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to start a business, we're talking. You heard it straight from Katina. Hot Shot Movers. Call them up. Go to the website. Once again, she said, just keep going. Just keep going. Next week, we're going to start a series. Katina, we're going to talk about business credit next week. We start next week. Okay. I'm going to spend 2 weeks myself talking about business credit, talking about financial literacy, talking about home ownership. We're not going to really talk about home ownership, but we're going to talk about credit. Okay. Credit is the new cash key. A lot of times when we go in business, we have a lot of people out here that says, hey, I can get you this amount of money. And then when you go and apply at the bank, you can't get it. Right. I'm going to provide what you need to do. I'm going to give you a point by point by point by point on some things that you can do, some of the things that I can have done to get credit and to network with the people who got credit. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have the credit. You can get somebody that got it for you. Little note, we're going to start a 700 club. And what the 700 Club is we're going to help people create a 700 credit score so that when we're going to do something special at the end of the year, and we're going to have a 700 Club, and we're going to create that 700 Club because we don't want people like Katina that is in the business, that is thriving, that we want to give her that platform where she can compete with anybody in the nation with her business. And we know that we can only do that with credit. So we're going to create a 700 Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to create a 700 Club, and we're going to identify people who score credit scores of 700 or better, because that is what creates generational wealth for the next generation. And then I'm going to give you some practical tools on how you can do it. Some practical tools. I'm going to give it up. Katina said, hey, she kind of pushed me today. She made me giving up everything in the store so y'all can rampage it. So starting next week, if you have ever wanted to start a business, wanted to get lines of credit, tune in next week. I'm going to be talking about what practically that you need to do to get lines of credit. Well, how do you increase your credit score? What do you got to do to generate income for your business? And sometimes you got to have people that you know, and sometimes you got to have things that you do. So we're going to start talking about that next week. It's going to be for the next 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that. In conclusion, Katina, what would be the last word that you would say to a person like myself, that want to get involved in a business or in the trucking business or in the moving business? What would you say that we need to do?
I would say for sure to do quite a bit of research, as to cost and, all the things that it entails. Because I think sometimes we can jump the gun and not really know what we're getting ourselves into. So I'm really grateful that you're going to do these lines of credit, information. Luckily I had saved up quite a bit of money, because if I hadn't, I would have been bankrupt before I got started, because there's just so many things in trucking, not just moving, but that's where they meet. There's so many things that you can use those lines of credit for: trucks, insurance, gas. You can't even get a gas card without a decent credit score. Like they won't give you one. So, you're just using all your own cash to buy all these things. And I'm just now learning about net 30 accounts and, things like that where I could have gotten all my materials instead of paying, all this money. So I think that, research and just really knowing what you're getting into, even if, not because you're looking to see like, oh, am I going to fail? No, just to really know, do some real innovative thinking on what you're getting into so that you can have a good plan for the most part, try to at least.
Okay. So once again, next week we're going to start the financial literacy class. It's going to be for 2 weeks. If you have ever wondered what you're going to do, this is why I charge about $10,000 to do for people in the business world. I'm going to give it to you all for free. It's going to be, you got to log in. I'm not going to give you everything, but I'm going to give you so much information to where you can go out and you can start your business on your own, like Katina did. And we're gonna connect the dots. We're gonna connect a lot of the dots because at the end of the day, Katina, you kind of hit it right on the head. We gotta do better with serving our community. And if I know that that's where we're struggling at, that's what the next thing I'm gonna do. For the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna pull out the whole stops, all stops. I don't know if I'm gonna allow it to be on YouTube and everything, but I'm gonna give everything back to the community. We're going to create the 700 Club. Stay tuned for that. We're going to subscribe, and you're going to be able to log on for a week. You're going to be able to log on every week, and you're going to be able to get tips on how you can get that to that 700 credit score. So once again, thank you, Katina, for coming and being a part. Thank you for taking out time with your busy schedule with your kids and everything. I know you could be making some money, but you know what? Thank you
For having me.
a million times. And so I'm expecting that telephone number from those individuals that you've promised me. So, but you made me create this next week. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about business finances and lines of credit. So,
Okay.
Katina, thank you for coming on. Hot Shot Movers. You can Google them. They're at the top of the list. She was on my show. She brings cred to my show. It's not the Soul Train show where it's sideways. Katina, thank you for coming and being a part. Thank you
For having me.
you are. Thank you for betting on yourself. Thank you for not giving up. You made me change my logo now. I can't say the Calvary ain't coming, Katina, because you're here.
Oh.
So the Calvary has came. The creek ain't going up no more. It stopped. Because me and Katina is going to help our community. And I'm so excited about Hot Shot Movers. She's just gonna have to give me a part of the company in the future. So you know what? I want to buy into it. So once again, if you're looking to move, Hot Shot Movers, call Katina Ruffin. If I hear about you not using her and you're moving, I'm going to not use you. I'm going to tell everybody bad about you. So
Don't do that.
So use Hot Shot Movers, MA&D.com. Make sure that you reach out to her. Katina, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me an hour out of your time. I know your time is precious. I know that you got your kids ready, but I think that you're needed and you celebrated in our community. Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary has came. The creek ain't gonna rise no more. You know what? It's up to me and Katina, okay, to save us. So we're gonna get started. If you're looking to move, by all means, give her a call. Reach out to hotshotmoversindy.com. Give her a call. Everybody's looking to move. This is the housing industry. Share this with somebody. Share this with your daughters. If you're looking for a job, call Katina. If you're a felon, call Katina. She feels your pain. She understands where you're at. If she comes highly recommended, bet on yourself. Till next time, next Wednesday, 6:00. Keep betting on yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The Calvary's come. The creek is not going to rise no more. It's up to you to save you now. Tune in next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.